Ere.
Welcome. We set you up talking about our favorite animation from back in the day. We mentioned the Jetsons and Flintstones, and
Oh yeah.
I think it was Battle of the Planets or something. I think it was that when you said it, I'm like, well, maybe I'm getting the name wrong. But how all of the different variations and generations of the art form have come. And now to
Yeah.
see you here in 2022, where I know it's rarefied air, and I have to think that there's not many of us in this area. We're proud of you. We're proud of you as we start
Very much
the
so.
spring.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I was telling Alvin, we were talking about we were a little bit, just a little bit older than you, just maybe 1 or 2 years. So we were talking about just the evolution of animation and how now you all are able to make it look like you're really there. Like I look at cartoons, it's animation now. It used to be called cartoons. Now they call it animation because the skill level is so high.
Oh,
and
man.
I feel like it really does feel like you're in that space when you're watching the animations.
Right.
And well, first talk about how you got started, and then tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started a very long time ago. I started when I was really young, and luckily, I feel very, very blessed to kind of have had a vision of what I wanted to do from a very young age.
What does that mean, really young? Like how young?
I'm talking like 7, 8 years old.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So that was at a time where I remember on TV at some point they started showing the behind the scenes footage of one of the movies that I loved watching. And I remember it kind of clicking for me that, wait a second, if there's people working behind the scenes, they're probably getting paid. Wait, to pay to make cartoons?
This is a very in tune 7-year-old.
Exactly. So I was like, well, it's a Nigerian 7-year-old. So I was like, I want to make money doing it.
Yes.
Wish you.
So a friend of mine introduced me to some free 3D animation software. And then it was called Blender, for those of you who want to know. And then I started using it. And I was just like going online and researching all these things and looking at tutorials and following tutorials and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there got to a point where I couldn't really continue learning by myself, just because animation, the way animation works is very, like, you kind of have to, you need feedback, you need like all that kind of stuff to grow. And so I started reaching out to professionals in the industry. I started going on IMDb and just like going to all my favorite animated movies and just going clicking all their names and Googling anybody who had an email address online. I would send thousands and thousands of emails.
Really? Wow, that's great.
Years, yeah. And then luckily, like some of these relationships stuck, and I got my first job in the industry about 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. And then
so your entry is in like the Pixar age, that generation, or is it the previous hand painted? Where did you jump in the line?
Yeah, so I've only been in the industry for about 6 years. So like that is kind of in the Pixar age, but it's not necessarily like I didn't start out on Toy Story or anything like that. So I did intern at Pixar. Was my first sort of jump into the industry, and that was a lot of fun. That was around the time that they were making Coco.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Incredibles 2, and then I left and I moved to London for about 3 years and worked in a bunch of movies over there. Then my first job as an actual animator was on Hotel Transylvania 3. That was at Sony.
Yes.
And then I started jumping around a bunch of different places, and then I just came back to Sony about 1.5 years ago, and I've been working on the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is the sequel to the Spider-Man movie.